Big news for AI, especially for open source AI. Open source AI models. Llama 3.1 is here from Meta, and it beats its top end model, beats ChatGPT, GPT4o. Let's have a look. Gonna talk a little bit more about it and also talk about why it is important news for like developers, and I am particularly excited for this. Takeaways. Meta is committed to openly accessible AI. Read Mark Zuckerberg's letter. Open source AI is the path forward. I do admire his, not admire, but I do kind of like his stance on where this open source AI monopoly is, his fight against the AI monopoly from the closed source models like Claude or like GPT4o and Gemini from Google. So I do actually like his attitude towards this open source, closed source models, and finally, open source models have caught up with GPT4o. It actually beats GPT4o and recently released Cloud Sonnet 3.5. Open intelligence to all. Our latest model expand to 128K context window. That is another thing. Before it was like 8K, but it's much longer, so it is proper, especially when I am developing like SaaS apps and stuff like that. This context window matters, and so that doesn't shorten the article that I'm writing. So this means that I can easily write like, I don't know, article of like 60,000 words, 60,000 input tokens, 60,000 output tokens, if my understanding is right. But it has a big context length, but I'm not sure whether it will, respect our, even if we specify this should be the max tokens that you should generate. I don't think it respects it that much all the time. And that is across the board. The 770 billion parameter model and the 8 billion parameter model, they also have version upgrades. They have been bumped from 3 to 3.1, and they all have like this bigger context window, which is amazing. Now, I tried Llama 3. Okay, before getting into that, Llama 3.1 400 billion parameters in a class on its own with unmatched flexibility, control, and state-of-the-art capabilities that rival the best closed source models. Our new model will enable the community to unlock new workflows such as synthetic data generation and model distillation. I think this is useful for using this model to train other models, to create new data, synthesize new data, to train the other models and evaluate and stuff like that. We are continuing to build out Llama to be system by providing more components that work with the model, including a reference system. We want to empower developers with the tools to create their own custom agents. This is exactly what I'm working on, custom agents and new types of agentic behaviors. I think there's a huge market and huge future for agentic workflows. And that is coming. It's already here. It's starting, and it's going to be, I think it's going to be even bigger. We are bolstering this with new securities and safety tools, including Llama 3 Guard and Prompt Guard. All right, but I'm not really, doing anything illegal. And also, sometimes these guards can take it to the extremes and not give the thing that you asked for. So I'm not a big fan of the, I don't know how it actually works, whether it limits the censors content. I'm not a big fan of censoring. So yeah, we are also releasing a request for comment on Llama Stack API. I don't know what that is. I think it's probably like an OpenAI API equivalent of Llama Stack API, a standard interface we hope will make it easier for. You're also releasing a request for comment. What is that? Oh, RFC. Okay, I didn't know. I know what RFCs are, but I didn't know actually that was what it stood for. All right. So an OpenAI AI, similar to OpenAI API's endpoint, standardized endpoint, to access it over an API, which is actually pretty good. So that means that I can not only install Llama, at least a 70 billion model that seems to work on my Mac with 96 gigabytes of RAM and the neural GPU or MPS metal performance shaders. It's still very bad compared to NVIDIA, but still it works on my Mac. If you want to run AI models, you better have a NVIDIA GPU or something similar. Uh, Xcode is evolving, able to recognize the PyTorch translation through MPS. I think it's getting better. It's getting there. I've read an article like a couple of months ago, so you might not need to do that. My 70 billion is actually parameters is actually running very smoothly, but I don't think I'll be able to do the 400 billion. But it's the file itself is like 200 gig, 280 gig, or something like that. I'll show you in a minute. I'll forget. LLAMA, searching LLAMA models 3.1 LLAMA 3. All right, if you go to their model card on LLAMA, if it loads, that's strange. All right, it's about 250 or 280 gigabytes of that file itself, 400 billion parameters. So even 70 billion is kind of slow to be run on my Mac with 96 gigabytes of RAM. So I don't think it's going to get any better. Anyway, the ecosystem is primed and ready to go with 25 partners. Yeah, you can use this over AWS, NVIDIA, Databricks, Grok. I'm using Grok, but I would want to get into their paid program, which because it is still cheaper than using OpenAI. I don't mind paying for that, but I still want it to be like really, really cheap because you know, especially when you're developing now, I don't want to spend too much money before I have like a few sales. Try Llama 3.1 400 billion parameters in the US on WhatsApp and at Meta AI. I wonder if there's a way to connect to WhatsApp API and use that in production. I don't know. Until today, open source large language models have mostly trailed behind their closed counterpart. This is what's exciting part. You don't have to be dependent on like GPT4o or Sonnet 3.5 being the smartest model, but you don't have control, like very little control over where you can deploy it, and you have to be in their program 100%, right? So this is gives you back like a lot of control back to the developers, and especially it's big for like SaaS developers like me because it's I can, even if I wanted to run it locally, I can. It is possible for me to run it on a, GPU based machine as the usage grows and still save a lot of money. And also, it's very easy to use it with Olama locally to prototype applications very soon, and you don't have to pay when you develop, when you don't even know whether your product is going to sell. So you're not spending a bunch of money just when developing. You're not wasting money. So that is good. Now we are ushering in a new era with open source leading the way. Yeah, yeah. It beat GPT4o. We are publicly releasing Meta Llama 4.5B, which we believe the world's largest, most capable, openly available foundational model. With 300 million total downloads of all Llama versions to date, we are just getting started. All right, now we have, you can download it here or from Hugging Face. But I tried loading it through Hugging Face, but it wouldn't load because it is a large file. Because I'm trying to use the zero GPU. It doesn't, unless I'm doing something wrong. You can tell me how to deploy it. I'm trying to, for past few days, I've been trying to deploy models on like, I bought a pro subscription. I've been trying to deploy models on Spaces, but this is, I tried for 400 billion already, but now I'm trying 70 billion. Even that doesn't load on zero GPU. Maybe there is no GPUs available, but yeah, I need a production endpoint. That's why I'm basically trying to do that. But then again, yeah, it's not the best because you don't get the actual compatibility with OpenAI API with radio interface, if you know what that means. So tech talk. But where is our model evaluations? Okay, 400 billion parameters. Nematron, I think that's from NVIDIA, 304 T billion instruct. See this, ChatGPT 4o, 88, 88.6, 88.6, 73.3. I don't know what that is. Like 76. Like almost all of them, except 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, has beaten the closed source model. That is 3.5 Sonnet, 92. That's for human eval. I don't know all these. Like I found that Cloud 3.5 is very bad at coding actually for my use cases anyway. 4.0 is much better. It doesn't follow instructions very well. It does. It produces good code when it understands what we are trying to do, but it doesn't follow the instructions. If you ask it to change or something, or it forgets. And I think it's structured a little bit differently. I think because you hit the rate limit much faster with 3.5, which is very strange. I just canceled my GPT subscription and start a cloud subscription, and I regret it. I want to go. I will go back to 4.4 because I generate most of my code in using 4.0. Yeah, if you want to know like how I develop apps so fast using GPT-4, it's basically like, I hardly write any code. I do write code to customize it and stuff like that, but most of it can be like 80% of the code is actually generated by for the AI. I don't use like GitHub or anything like that, like Copilot and stuff like that. This is the best I have found because it can understand the whole context and it can remember across conversations. I don't know, Copilot or something like that will be able to do that. Last time I tried, it wasn't. So maybe they have upgraded and it is capable of doing that. But for now, 4.0 is the best for coding, for, at least for me. Look at this, 58. So this is like, this is why I'm excited. I'm like, well, I won't be able to install that, but still, if you look at 70 billion here, uh, yeah, this is actually not that great. I have tried it locally. It's slow and it's kind of 86. It's very close. 88. I actually don't know deeply what this actually means, but I'm just looking at the numbers. 64. Yeah, this one is very close. Zero shot. Five shot, I think it's multi-level reasoning. That's what they are referring to, I think. 66, 73, 77. Yeah, most of the time I might not be using most of the stuff anyway. GPT-4 preview, that's a win. 23% win. 52% tie. 24% loss. 51% win with GPT-4o. With Sonnet, it's 24% loss. It actually beats Sonnet more than it beats GPT-4o. 24%. 50. Model architecture. And more tech talk, I think. Instruction and chat fine tuning. Yeah, I'm excited to. So I've been working on this thing here. Basically, what it does is like you can input a query And then you can currently it is hooked up to OpenAI though, so it's kind of expensive. It comes up with long form articles and automatically submits to my uh, SEO clients, like people who wants written SEO pages written for them. So there are some agencies that are interested in this, and then I'm working with them to create articles. So instead of paying like, I don't know, at least 2 to 5 grand per month for to an SEO agency, when I started posting on Twitters, people started contacting me. Can you do this for me? Instead of paying them, it's much easier to pay me, because I did write a ton of articles for one of my on sites and that started ranking on Google, but they are not people. It's a knee jerk reaction actually, is that it's why are you spamming, but it's not actually spam. It is well researched and maybe even better than human writing. Well, I wouldn't go that far, but it's like it saves a lot of time to come up with a draft. You can still edit it if you want, but I I do the other way. I write it, and if it ranks on Google, and then I optimize it. I don't do the premature optimization of like what keyword will be ranking faster, paying 200 bucks for Ahrefs. Instead, I just get all the keywords, write for everything, and see what actually works. And if it starts getting traffic, I optimize those pages. But anyway, that was a side note. But that is why I am excited for this. All I need now is a public inference endpoint or some kind of rate limit increase. So if you go to Grok, this is what I use, right? when it when I push to production most of the time, and Hugging Face in combination, if I want to keep the cost low, there are certain things like smart reasoning. Uh, so I do like a fallback. If OpenAI doesn't like Grok doesn't work, I hit Hugging Face. If that doesn't work, I hit OpenAI to keep the cost low. But I have noticed that for this thing, OpenAI works the best, and also Gemini works for like writing ebooks and stuff like that. Grok models are quite used to be quite dumb like Grok models. How do I go to? That's why I didn't use it. Like 70 billion parameter model, the before one, that was too dumb to understand my prompts in the agent system that I was writing. So right now, I'm actually considering if that becomes available through API, but here it says API access is currently only available to paying customers. I can't for the life of me can figure out how to become a paying customer. Maybe I have to contact them. Like if you go to billing, they just say contact us. I don't really want to do that because I'm not an enterprise customer. It's just I'm spending a little bit. It's not going to be a big sale for them. So um, yeah, this is going to be interesting if they release it. Yeah, they do have this developer section that is coming soon. Settings. If I go to billing, there's a developer section that is pay per token, but I don't know. High rate limits. Here they do have custom rate limits. Yeah, it's gonna be expensive. But if I could use this, it's similar to. Well, I wouldn't say cheaper. It's probably the same price. In which case, there's not much advantage. Yeah, but it's still better than spending 5 grand on a dedicated machine. It's fast though. But anyway, that's why I'm excited. Like this, you should really play. You should be excited if you're a SaaS developer. For normal people, I don't know. This is mostly for developers, I guess. Normal people, general public, they probably wouldn't use this. They probably still will stick with Sonnet and from Claude and ChatGPT4o. So that is my little rant about why you should care as a SaaS developer. If you want to know more about my development process or anything that I'm currently developing, or I'm figuring it out myself, learning Next.js, Python, and Yeah, I've released a couple of products. Like this was my first product. A few clients there, Next.js and yeah, AI backend using. So you can actually embed Python in Next.js for small tasks when the libraries are not big. So I may do a video for that, how to integrate Python and JavaScript for AI projects together. The second one is the Generative Tools AI project, which is a, yeah, it's blocked because I'm on VPN. I want to drop out of that. How do I do that? So that's the process. So it's basically search for, it's an AI directory. So best AI tools for content creation. I created this for SaaS developers. So you want to compare your competition and stuff like that, you can do that. And hopefully it works. Sometimes it goes down because it hits the rate limit or whatever. It takes a bit of time because it's generating the article on the fly. It's not like article. It's RAG. Oh yeah, if you want to know more about like retrieval augmented generation, which is what I'm working on, do let me know. Yeah, and the next one is this one, the auto publisher. So this was a project where I indexed like 60K pages or something like that and crawled about like, I can show you. I don't know. So you can see that much indexed. Yeah, then I had to block Google because huge server bills. So a lot of it is server error because I have blocked and was returning for a 500, but it's not a proper way to do it. And now I'll have to submit the indexing request again. Then again, current these probably I want to correct it because these are different reasons. Yeah, I don't know what the reasons are for not getting indexed. Probably not like Google doesn't think that is a good quality. That's one of the reasons that Google don't index your websites pages. So, but this was all done through bots, like writing article, submitting to Google, two different agents. So it's a proper agentic system. So I posted about this on Twitter, and that's how people and started contacting me, and also I need a system to do it cost effectively because I have to. It takes about like the research and article generation. It takes about like anywhere between like $3 to $6 to generate. So, but it's still cheaper for the clients because instead of paying 25 articles for 2K, 3K a month at least from a SEO agency, it's 25 articles for 2000. Yeah, I don't know how the math works, but it's actually $10. I'm kind of like, there's a lot of moving parts, so I didn't actually take a lot of time to actually figure out how much it costs. But I know that how much is draining from OpenAI account, so I put that and put like some kind of markup to at least keep some profit. So $10 per page generation if you are using OpenAI. Uh, So yeah, I'm trying to get the cost down and do it on a scale. So if you know a way to do that, let me know. And if you want to know how to actually do create these AI products, um, the architecture and stuff like that, do let me know as well. I'll cover that as well. So I'll see you in the next one.